Hi, welcome back to the farm. My name's Roz, also known as Passion Flower, and you'll find me here each week talking about my farming and creative life. I'm going to take a bit of a different format this week. Instead of going through my normal farm life, business life, and creative life, I am instead going to dive into my WIPs. I have a basket that I keep beside my couch, which has my active WIPs in it. And at the moment, I have a white drawstring bag that has things that I've taken out of that basket that are sort of become not active or were parts of old projects that I haven't put away properly. And I also have a small grey ottoman that also has some WIPs in it as well. So I plan to go through the more active ones first and share where I'm at with everything. I also have a finished object to share with you. And then I'll go into going into those, which are just sitting just over here, into those older WIPs and old projects to see what is in there. I have an idea. I've opened it up really quickly, and I don't think anything is a surprise. I do want to find needle tips because I am missing quite a few and like only have like one of some and not the other. So that's really quite odd. And I want to start to get a cue of what I'm going to be working on next. Hopefully taking from some of these because they're things that I want to either get on the needles, get off the needles, or continue to work on. So we will get to those shortly. So first to the finished object, and that is the cowl that I was making for a friend of my mum's, and it was in the Lionbrand Feels Like Butta in black and yellow. I do not have it because I've already given it to mum to give to the lady. So I'll insert a little bit of video here. I literally just made it up as I went along. I think I cast on about 240 stitches, joined in the round, knit until I was about halfway through. Then I did a purl bump with the intention that at that point I was then going to fold it and knit again the sort of the same width and then do a 3-needle bind off by picking up the cast on edge and knitting it with the live stitches to close it up. So it was just showing the right side all the way around as a big tube. Just did mostly just stockinette, reverse stockinette, a little bit of garter, a few eyelets, a little bit of ribbing, and I think it's turned out quite nicely. So I hope she likes it. It was a commission, so I just wanted to get it done, and now I can get back into the projects that are sort of more for me. So I haven't done a lot of other work on current projects this week, although I have made a little bit of progress on my 2 active WIPs. The first one I'll show you is the jumper that I'm making for my sister based on the True Stripes numbers from the 52 weeks of Easy Knits, and then taking the pickup numbers from the La Bordeaux sweater and knitting the sleeves in the round from the top down. So the body's knit in pieces and then the sleeves are knit in the round from the top down. This is the sleeve ball that I'm working on now. This yarn is Valley Yarns by Moda in the Latrobe colorway. I'm also using Otis in, I think it's just called white. So fluff, and there is a pink in here somewhere, which is Ruby, also by Moda, and it is for the cuffs. So I have the first sleeve on hold. Deb has tried it on and we are happy with the length. So my problem that I discovered last week was that I couldn't do both sleeves and have them on hold because I have this pink wound into a hand wound ball. So I only have the one end that I can use. So I have to cut it and finish that off. So I will be doing that shortly. So I am on the second sleeve and done the first part of the fluff, and I'm almost up to doing the second fluff. So this is not going to take me too much longer now. I've got the this bind off to do. Need to pick up stitches for the neck, and I need to hem that together. So ideally, I'd love to get this done this coming week, so that it is done well and truly in time for her birthday. I can get it blocked and dried, and start to work on some other projects that I am thinking about, which I will be showing you here today. So that's active WIP number 1. Now I have white fluff all over my black t-shirt. Perfect. My second WIP is my Happy Street by Vera. It's a shawl I'm knitting out of 4 different colours. The dark pink is the February 2014 Dreaming Colour Club colourway, and then I've got 3 colours of Madeline Tosh. I think it's like antique. They're in my project page. I will leave the link below so you can find them. So I just finished the 7th stripe, so I haven't done a lot on this past week because I was working on that cowl in the evening instead of doing my little bit of Happy Street knitting. I'm not going to have enough for another stripe of this. In fact, I only made this 5 garter ridges instead of 6. So I'm going to do 5 garter ridges of the light pink, 5 garter ridges of this darker color, and then see how big the shawl feels, and either stop it there and just do like the finishing with the dark pink, or perhaps work another set of stripes in just the light pink and the dark, depending on what I have left. So that is my Happy Street. The other projects that I have sitting in my active WIPs basket that's been in my lounge room is the Pescadero by Amy Herzog, which I haven't touched in a little while, and I did talk about having blocked the back. So this is the blocked back. It's kind of still hard to see, but there's a beautiful piece of fabric. This is knit from Fluff and Nonsense Tibetan Singles in the Sage Advice colorway, and it's really, really pretty. So I have the back piece blocked, and I'm comfortable that it's going to fit me now. And I am about a third of the way maybe through the lace section of the front. And once I once I get a few of these things off the needles, then I can gradually start to work on this again. So I think this will continue to be in my active basket. There's the tag there. So there's that one. I will leave as much detail below about each pattern. I'll put a link to either my pattern page and the yarn, or at least to the pattern itself, so that you can check it out. And if there isn't any information and you're interested, just send me a comment or a DM on Instagram, and I can share with you any of the information. Okay, sorry, where was it up to? I had to take a quick break because Adam was putting the lawnmower, ride-on mower, back into the shed. It was a bit noisy, and also it started to rain, which is actually really exciting. So we're hoping that we get this sort of light drizzle for the rest of the day to help settle the dust and get everything nice and damp, but it's sort of eased off a little bit now. So back to the projects. The next one that I have on the needles, which is active but not very active, is my Bali hat that I've been taking to markets to work on. So I haven't made any progress on this one. But it is out of my yarn, my Flourish DK in the Aqua colorway. What a mess. And the Wispy lace is Hydrangea. So together they're making this really beautiful 10-ply fabric, which I'm really loving. So that will be coming with me to markets in the coming weeks. Oh, the rain is back. I can hear it. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it on the roof as well, but it's a really lovely sound on the tin roof. The next knitting that I've done this week has been swatching for a test knit, which I can share with you. It's not a secret test knit. It is, sorry, I'm looking down a lot, so I'm trying to find the pattern. It is by Tess from Fluff and Nonsense. It is called the Mail Clad Vest. It is a scoop neck vest with a twisted stitch pattern on the body. And I am using Fluff and Nonsense yarn, her 5-ply, in the SRS Merino in the colourway Orange Spice. So here is the colour here. I was just really drawn to it, and it's not really my normal colour, but I think it actually suits me really well. So I ended up, I think I'd bought 5 skeins of this, and the pattern calls for 2. So I have chosen the 2 that look the most similar. There was 2 different dye lots, but I bought them all together. And then I should be able to use the other 3 for another top or jumper, because that will be plenty of yarn. So I have swatched in pattern, and I have swatched just in stockinette, and I'm going to block these now and measure for my gauge. I have already gone up a needle size. The recommended pattern is 3.75, and I've gone up to a 4mm. I started to do it in the 3.75, and it was super tight. I think partly because I was knitting on like a short cable and short needles, because that's all I had, because I'm missing lots of my tips. So that's all I had in the 3.75s. But I also thought that I am a reasonably tight knitter, so I have gone up to a 4, and it's looking more like I'm going to get gauge with a 4mm. So I will block and measure, and hopefully I am on gauge and will be ready when the test knit is due to start. Oh, and speaking of needle tips, I did remember that I hadn't shared what I had found those current projects were on before I stopped recording this before. So the Pescadero is on 2.75mm regular size tips. Deb's jumper is on 5mm regular size tips. Happy Street is on 4mm regular size. And the Bali I have on 1 short 5mm and 1 short 4mm. Because I'm knitting it in the round, I've got the 5mm on the right hand side and the 4mm on the left hand side, so that it moves nice and easily on the needles. So that at least covers some of my the tips that I'm missing, and why there is a discrepancy between not having, like, only having 1 of one and not 2. But hopefully in these next bags and boxes I'm able to find some more tips. Otherwise there is definitely going to be a big order on the way. Alright, so first to this big drawstring bag that I have. I took this out of the basket that I have beside my couch, because I was worried that the cats were going to get to this, and I started to end up with like bags sort of on the floor next to the basket, and this was not stuff that I was working on. So hopefully this is not too painful. It's a bit of a mess. Got this little pouch kind of bag, and again I probably can't use these kind of bucket bags now with the cats around, but all this has in it is the scraps from one of my grassland tanks. So I just need to rewind these into neat little balls, and they will go into my sock scrap bowl that I have in my stash cupboard, so that I can grab those to add into the heels, toes and cuffs when I need them. And there is no needle tips in that bag. I have the leftover yarn from my first Tolster tank, so that needs to be wound back into a skein, and I think I will keep that as like a special skein, and maybe not knit all of it and keep a little bit as like a souvenir. I also have, it looks like, yeah, all of the yarn from my second Tolster tee as well. So I need to wind this all back into skeins to put away. More of that. I have, this is the bag I have my crochet dishcloth and knitting dishcloth cotton in. So I've got the needles I use for that and the crochet hook for that, as well as a little pouch that I got. It's just got stitch markers and scissors in it. So I will keep that as it is, and I think I'll just pop that into my continue to work on bag so I can easily grab that out when I need it. The pattern for the Tulsa tee with my markings on it so I know what size I was, so I'll keep this because I'll definitely be making another one of those. Another one of those pouches which I haven't even taken the tag off yet, so that needs to go into my bags pile so that I can use it. And I've got a little pouch for putting a ball of yarn in to keep it nice, and a needle like holder so it clips open. This is by Mel Stitch's Handmade, and I have a sock bag in that container over there that is the same material as this. It doesn't look like I actually have any other projects in here. I've got a complete pair of socks except for weaving in the ends, so they need to be woven in and put into my sock drawer. And that looks like a single sock without the ends woven in. And another one of those needle holders. Another pouch for yarn. This I had been missing. This is a whole little tin of, let me open, full to the brim with stitch markers, or little cute ones like progress keepers. So I need to put this somewhere where I'm going to start using them on my projects. The rest in here is just scraps of yarn, smaller balls that I'd been using for blankets and projects. So I probably just will keep all of that in here, but there are no other needle tips or projects in this bag. So a little disappointing because I was hoping that I would find some things in there, but unfortunately no. So now to the ottoman that I have that's filled with yarn as well, with projects. So here's the matching Alice in Wonderland sock bag that I have, and this is the one that I'd been using for the Bendigo project socks. So it has my leftover DK Socks Yeah yarn, as well as the yarn that I was using for the stripes and the heels. So again, they'll go back into my stripes and my socks and, my socks and heels little bowl. And I have my Addy, I think these are, got my little handy dandy measuring thing here. These are the 3.5 mil Addies that I bought to knit DK socks with. So there are, oh, I've got another little container with some stitch markers in it. It's a cute little Japanese girl. And I have my Heather made DK sock ball that I bought a few weeks ago with these needles to cast on new socks. I'll probably keep those in there. I might use those for the heels. I can decide when I get there, so I think I'll just keep all that in this bag. And again, this might go into my regular WIPs rotation basket. Next, I have the, I think it's called, I grabbed my Ravelry page of my current WIP so I could, it's the Painting Honeycombs Shawl Small Honeycombs by Stephen West, which I have been knitting on for quite a while. This is out of my own hand spun yarn. It was a steam dyed set of all different colours, and I made it into I applied it on itself and made it into like a gradient. So, and I've also got multiple balls of the background colour that I'm using, which is Queensland Collection Drover in the merino silk tweed, which is really pretty. It's got like little pops of different colours, so it picks up the colours of my hand spun in it. So I have not worked on this for a really, really long time. Oh, it does have tips in it, so that's exciting news. So it starts at this end with the blue, green, then it's gone into like a dark sort of pinkish red, and then into an orange, and into sort of a brown. So I'm at the brown here, and then it goes into like pinks and purples in the middle. And I think I have some smaller, another smaller ball of the pink that I can add in at the end. So that looks like everything that's in it. And I have on here, that's a short 4.5 and a short 4.5. Okay, I need to write that down. So I think once it gets cooler, this might actually be a good project for my in bed in the evening, and just get like a row or two done once my happy street is finished. So I think that would be nice to sort of have it across me while I'm in bed and snuggle in, and just plug away on that. And I'm loving how these colours are turning out. I love that I've got a project with my hand spun in it. I have knit another project with the start of this. I did a Spectra also by Stephen West, but I had so much left over, and it really didn't start to use the colour play that's in these. So that's why I decided to do the honeycomb shawl, and it'll end up being, I'm just going to keep going until I run out of my hand spun. Alright, next is also on my Ravelry, the Rio Kalina Cowl by Kat Bordy. And again, this is out of hand spun yarn, partly hand spun yarn and partly some yarn I'd bought in Japan in 2019. So it is just like traveling cables that just run down the length. It is, and now you can see here's where I've changed to my hand spun instead of the shop bought yarn. And I'm not concerned that it's going to make a difference in terms of the look of it or anything. I actually think it'll be fun, because when I think you twist this when you join it together, so it's sort of like a Mobius kind of cowl, and I think with the patterning and then the changing colour, it'll all work together. So I have this big ball of my hand spun to use for that, and it's not on needles at all, so hopefully, I think I do have a tag. So this was done on 4mm needles, so I can just pick that up again when I need to, and I'm pretty sure it's not even really like a pattern. You just choose where you cross cables as you go along the length. So and the other yarn was this from a shop I went to in Japan. So I'm keeping both of those projects, and we'll probably get to them this coming winter once I get over some of the things that I'm currently doing. Another sock project by the looks, in another bag made by Stitches, Mel Stitches Handmade. Oh, I know what this one is. This is, I think I just put this on hold. I might rip this out and completely start again. I was playing around with some, just trying different sock techniques for myself. So I had knit the foot of the sock, changed to the contrast colour, and instead of doing the heel, I did like this ribbing around either side of where the heel was going in to sort of like hug the foot. Then did a fish lips kiss heel, and then started knitting, and I was thinking I'm going to add like a ruffle, like a frill around, and then do more ribbing at the top. And I think I'm about at the point where I was going to do that. I have these on, these are like super tiny tips. Where did I put that measuring thing? Down here. These are, I reckon this only goes to 2.75, and these are smaller than that. So I highly doubt that I was knitting these on that size. I think I probably just put these on to hold the yarn. The yarn is more fluff and nonsense yarn. I seem to be knitting with a lot of that. This is the Platinum BFL Sock 4 ply in the December, I don't know what year, maybe last year, year before? Must have been the year before. December Monet Sock Club in Cliff Walk at Portville. So it is this really pretty light orange and this beautiful blue. So I kind of don't know what I did. Hang on. Oh, look, see, I drew a picture. That's what I was thinking of doing. But I actually don't know what size needles they were on. So I might rip it all out and redo the whole thing at some point. So I might just, these could be coming off the needles, even though I don't think these are on the needles that they're supposed to be on anyway. And I have this cute Knit Pro bag. It's got a handle, and then it's also got a zipper. So maybe I should be using this one as one of my sort of like buckety bags. This is the, what's it called? I don't even think I have a pattern page for this. The Woolamai Pine Wrap by Shara. It is patterned brioche, and I was knitting it out of my Wonka mini skein sets, and I was alternating the colours so that you've got, and I did a provisional cast on to make a cowl. It's almost at the length that I could probably literally just cast it off and call it finished, and then I could start wearing it for markets, which would be actually quite fun. So it's got You're Turning Violet Violet with Pure Imagination, and then Pure Imagination with Snozzberries, Snozzberries with Millions of Tiny Pieces with To the Fudge Room with Golden Ticket, and then Golden Ticket with You're Turning Violet Violet, and then I've got the Pure Imagination Snozzberries, and it looks like I'm partway through the Millions of Tiny Pieces again. So if I wanted to do a full repeat, I need to do Fudge Room and Golden Ticket again. So that might actually, that's pretty close to being finished, but it's a tricky, there's one tricky cross in it, and the rest is reasonably straightforward in terms of the patterning from memory. And it's these little like trees. So I've got all of my mini skeins in here, and enough to do another repeat of both of those. So I actually think I'd like to finish this because it's really pretty. And past me made a good decision on the transitioning of those colours, I think. This does have needle tips in it. We've got these are really hard to read when they're catching the light. 3.5, and I'm assuming this is also a 3.5 because it is knit flat. It's a 3 point, hang on, that's a 3.75. Is it? That's a 3.75, and this is a, got a 3.75 and a 3.5. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if I was doing, who knows. So I might have to, I'll read the pattern and see what the recommended needle is and make sure that I end up with the same tips on there. That's why I couldn't find my 3.5s. Okay, so that is the wool of my cow. The last thing is in my purple corduroy Crystal Cat Stitchery bag, which I love, and I should be using way more, but instead it's been sitting in this bag, and then it's a bag inside a bag. Hang on a second, what's in here? The same. All right, so this is a whole bag full of different colors of Alaray Kid Sparkle that I was intending to make the Evanescence jacket by Hohi Locatelli with, and I had done this was last March when I was on the Unwind cruise. I was swatching a whole lot of color combinations to marl the colors, and they've got sparkle, so I was adding, like, doing purple and blue, and here's just to try and figure out which way I thought I would do it. And I think this little section I was going to put in here somewhere. I don't know. Oh, and I've got another bit here. I'll show you all the colours. So I've got, it's like a peach, a blue, a gold, a dark teal, which I think I decided I was going to use. I was considering adding in my Wildflowers colourway, and also a darker blue, which I may or may not use, and then also the light purple, or pinky purple. It's coming out much more purple on the screen for a change rather than like light pink. So my plan was, it's a different number of colours than what's called for in the pattern. So I was doing maths to try and figure out the marling and then the width of the stripes in comparison to the lace pattern. And I think that's when my mind went, this is all too hard. I can't, I don't really want to think about that. I just want to knit something. So then I just put it all in a bag and moved on. I had started the lace pattern. This is the back shoulder, and it's quite pretty, but in all honesty, I don't know if I am actually going to continue to knit a whole long jacket garment with this patterning all the way through. It might look nice as like a feature of some stripes, but I just honestly don't know if I would use it the whole way through. So I would really love the jacket, and I think a really light, airy, longish sort of coat jacket, maybe even adding some of that fluff that I'm currently using from from Deb's jumper around the neckline and maybe around the cuffs would add a little bit of, like, I don't know, smoking jacket duster kind of vibe, which might be nice. But I clearly didn't make a lot of progress, and I think it's because I just got overwhelmed by the maths and the figuring out the marling and the thought of doing this pattern all over. And there hadn't been a lot of the projects done at that point. It was very early on when it had just come out, so there was really nothing to compare it to either. And I think I made a mistake too. It looks like that should line up, like that should be over a little bit more. Does that look square to you? I'm not entirely sure. So I'm thinking that I might rip this out with the intention that I will do something that's a bit more plain, mull through the colours, but maybe only add in maybe some striping when I do just the solid colour, or I don't know, but definitely not do an all over lace because I'm pretty sure I'll never ever get through it. These do have tips on it, and I've got 2 different lengths. Hopefully these are the same size. Let's have a look. I've got a bit of 4. Okay, so that's a 3.75 regular. So there's my other 3.75. So that the 1 and the 1 from those last 2 projects makes a full set of those. So then essence 1 times 3.75 mil regular length, and this is, surely it's a 3.75 as well. Yeah, 3.75, 1 times 3.75 millimeter, and this is in the medium length tip, which I'm pretty sure I have the other one sitting in my case, and I thought that I had lost this one. So that is good news. Yeah, I am going to rip this out because I'm pretty sure I have no idea what I'm up to or doing with this, and I will start something again when I have a space in my WIP rotation. And I think, and that is it. I actually didn't have as many WIPs on the go as I thought I did. I had just added other leftover project bits in with it, which made it look a bit more overwhelming than it was. I know a lot of people have a lot more WIPs on the go than I do, but for me this is more than enough, and I feel that I need to pare it back and not leave these things kind of sitting in bags and not getting done. It kind of sits at the back of my mind, and I don't like it. So I'm thinking what I had been doing with the sort of the 3 projects, a sort of portable, on the go, not too hard to think about project to be able to take to knit nights and to work on at work would be really good. So that'll probably be socks or something that's like more simple in the round, like the barley hat. I think the barley hat will set separately, so it'll be like 3 plus the barley hat. Then probably a jumper or a garment sort of knit, something that's sort of going to take a bit more time, and then sort of that mid project, a shawl or a cowl or something like that, to sort of fill in the gap and to work around. So I don't have too many that I need to pick up. I'm going to rip out those socks that I had been playing with my own idea for a pattern, and I'm going to rescue that yarn and maybe even go back and do the same idea again, but start fresh. And I am going to rip this out, like literally right now I'm going to sit and rip this out, and I will leave this in this bag, and hopefully this bag is my incentive to get back to doing this project as well. I'm going to go back through and look at my colour decisions here and see what I'm going to do to make myself a jacket that is going to, what's the right way to say it, sort of scratch the itch of what I've been thinking that I want for quite a while. So I'm not sure that I found all of my yarn, all of my needle tips though. All of my regular tips I have. I don't think I have all of my short tips. I think I'm missing a short 5 mil, and I think I'm missing a short 3.75. They're not likely to be in the same project, hidden somewhere in a bag. So it looks like I've probably lost those, which is a bit annoying. I will go through and just double check that they're not sitting at the bottom of one of these bags that I have, but it's actually not as bad as I thought it was in terms of needing to order tips, which is good. It might just be that I need to order another just to fill up these little shorties again, because I think what happened one day is I had this open and they all tipped out, and clearly I didn't find them all. I should actually try the couch in the house and also maybe this couch here as well, just to be sure. I think that's it for this week. I've been really rambly. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a little bit different, but I just kind of wanted to get all of this clear in my head because I'm aware that I'm about to finish quite a big project, and I would like to be clear about where I'm going. And as I said, these other projects sitting in this box was kind of gnawing away at me a little bit because I wasn't entirely sure where they were all at, and I want to be able to work through some of these. And also I wanted to make sure that I was ready for when the male clad vest test knit starts as well, so which will be in early May. So I want to have a spot ready for that, and then have a few more things that I can work on that are going to bring me joy. So that's it for the week. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next week on the farm. Bye.